Today we're going to be making some potato salad, and I'm going to show you how I swap out some ingredients to make it more wholesome and have more protein. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross, and this is 𝐂𝐻𝐿 Legacy, where I teach you how to save money on groceries. Our grocery budget is $135 per person, and we only have 2 people here in the family, so our grocery budget is $270 per month. But oftentimes we are feeding extra people, or we want to be able to bring something to a potluck or a barbecue. I teach in my grocery hauls and in my meals series how I keep ingredients in my house that are very versatile, so I can make any kind of recipe that I want, and we always have the ingredients we need on hand. So the quantity I'm going to show you today is what we normally have if we are having it at the beginning of the week for lunches for the week. It will stay fresh in the refrigerator. If you're taking it to a barbecue or have a larger gathering, you might want to double this recipe. I have found a trick over the years. I do this with making soup and also with something like this, is I don't want to make it in too big of a bowl that we end up over making the potato salad and we will end up having too much of it and we get tired of it. So I make sure that I measure the potatoes out in the bowl I kind of want it to end up in. So it just happened that this is exactly half of the bag. It was a 5-pound bag. So this is 2.5 pounds of potatoes, which I actually already cooked. We'll go through those steps, but this is the other half of that bag there. This is the other half of the 2.5 pounds. We will have the written recipe for this on the blog. We will link that in the description so you don't have to worry about taking any measurements or notes right now. And I just have to say, I think this little pear-shaped potato is so cute. But I took all the potatoes, I washed them off before I got ready to cut them. Then I cut them in half and then flipped them around and cut them in quarters. As you're doing this, if you can let them rest in cold water for half an hour, that will help them pull out the starches out of the potatoes, which helps with your glucose levels when you're eating them later. I started the potatoes in the water to boil and added some salt into it. And I let them cook for about 5 minutes before I added the eggs. I added 6 eggs into the water, and that way I was able to cook the hard-boiled eggs at the same time as the potatoes. We also have a video on making hard-boiled eggs if you are needing to learn how to make hard-boiled eggs. But this time I just did it in the same time as the cooking time, and then I pulled them out and put them into ice water. Once the potatoes were fork tender, then I drained them, and I actually just put them in the refrigerator in this colander with a bowl underneath. The longer that you let them cool before we're adding the dressing and stuff, the better. And again, I'm diabetic, and I found that the more that I cool potatoes and then eat them, they don't make the glucose spike in my body as much. We are going to end up peeling the hard-boiled eggs, and then I'm going to divide the whites, separate it from the yolks, and the yolks we're going to use in the sauce. And instead of adding mayo to this, which is normally oil and sometimes chemicals in whatever kind of mayo that you're adding, but I'm going to swap that out and use some Greek yogurt and some cottage cheese. It's a half a cup of each. We're going to blend those together with the egg yolks. So by making these swaps and adding the hard-boiled eggs with the egg yolks and the cottage cheese and Greek yogurt instead of mayo, we have added almost 70 grams of protein to this, which also, as me being diabetic, the more protein I can eat in the day, the better. So we are going to end up blending this in the Magic Bullet blender, and that way it will get smooth. I have some apple cider vinegar we are going to be adding to that too. You can either add Dijon mustard to this or yellow mustard. I chose to use Dijon today. I'm going to add salt, pepper, and garlic to that dressing or sauce that's going to end up on the potato salad. Some people put in raw celery into their potato salads. I actually don't like raw celery. I don't mind it cooked, but I don't add it to any cold dishes. And I chopped up a half an onion, which we're going to add. I just did a yellow onion that I had on hand. If you have one that is really strong and it's making you cry, I would soak that in some ice water for a few minutes before adding it to the potato salad, and that'll take some of that sharpness away. And we are a sweet relish family, so I will be adding that too. We will make sure to link the full recipe in the description. If you have any questions, please ask me, because I spend time every single day answering questions here on YouTube.